So today I went in a live and I saw one of my fellow sister was talking about subject of a 16-year-old now dating a 60-year-old man, or she was dating a 60-year-old man. He was delivering to her, and then afterward they fall in love, la di da di da. And she believed, the 16-year-old believed that the man was the best man in the world. And then afterwards she came back on live and started talking about, he's actually not the best man. And then they've broken up, and she the 16-year-old now looks, well, she's not 16 anymore, but she looks more happy and freed. And I came on a live and I started to speak about this. Childhood abandonment is something that a lot of people have subconsciously without even knowing, and especially like the fact that mental health has such a big large stigma around it. So a lot of people, what they tend to do is try to avoid it, or certain names when people say like you're suffering with childhood abandonment. What they tend to do, no, I don't even think about it. I don't even, I don't even cater to this side. The issue is this, especially the case of this 16-year-old, which she's no longer 16-year-old, is this. Just because somebody's grown up with a two-parent household does not mean they had a healthy relationship, or they got catered to every emotion, or everything that they needed was catered to them. The reason being is this: for a daughter, for you to learn what a love from a man is from your father. From a man, a boy, is always from your mother. So your mother shows you what a love from a woman feels like. So you get that first taste. And if, let's say, for example, the only type of love you had from your mother was just materialistic, or your father was materialistic, and not catered to your emotional, meaning your attention, affection, understanding, teaching, catering to all these things that we don't think really matter, you will have this sense of childhood abandonment. And childhood abandonment, what it brings is, low self-esteem, self-doubt, can lead to controlling. And this is why we have a lot of people who are narcissists, a lot of psychopaths. When you look at their family dynamic, you see that there was an absence of emotion. So there was the fact that the sibling was getting more attention than them, or the mother was always having a go at them, shouting at them, making them feel like they're lower, they're nothing. And that creates a lot of childhood abandonment. Now, what happens is, as you grow old, as you grow up as an adult, you don't really interpret certain things the same. So what you tend to do, because it causes you a lot of distress, what you tend to do, you don't really want to cater to those emotions. So what you do, you store it. However, subconsciously, because that's what you were exposed to, this becomes now your comfort without you knowing. This is why it's important really for you to look at your comfort, because you might think this is a comfort, this is where I feel peace, this is where I feel joy, but it's not. That's where you're actually intoxicated without even noticing it. So for this girl, she saw an older man, which tells us father, and she found that he was catering to her, giving her what she needed. She was literally not looking for love, but she was looking for her father. And a lot of that time, especially us young lady, we end up in that predicament, and it is not. It might seem like it's a good place, but it's not, because what happened is we end up seeing the ugly side of that person. I'll tell you what. For example, she saw a man, older man, who had money, financially stable. He had stability, some sort of stability, was able to protect her, give her all the love and all them stuff. She interpreted it as love. Now, what happens is you just saw one side. And a lot of men who are predators, what they tend to do, they love bomb you because they see that you're vulnerable. So they will love bomb you to the point that you feel like, this is my whole life. This is the man for me. This is it. He will never leave me. They make you feel so secure that you feel like this person can never hurt me. This person will never hurt my feeling. This person understand me, like not like my parents. And they make you even hate people that you've been with longer. And they make you feel like they're your world. They're the center of everything. And that is danger. And you should be careful with that. So what tend to happen, you start seeing that love bomb, you start seeing this, and then you start noticing, because a narcissist can't keep up the same love bombing for a long time. They're really not good with that. They literally just have a short time. So once that period is up and they feel like that's it, they've got you, they tend to now show you the ugly side. And the ugly side, trust me, these are things that you don't want to get to. So this is where it comes from: the domestic violence, the verbal abuse, the emotional abuse, all of these things. But because you feel so comfortable and you feel like there's nobody else who understands you, you stay there longer. And this is where we have people staying in domestic violence for a long period of years, and people are not understanding because they've been love bombed, and so they are trapped. So for them to come out, statistics shows that for a person to come out of domestic violence, it takes them 7 attempts. And within that 7 attempts, a few don't make it because they're not able to access support. The support system is weak and people give up on them so early. People just leave them. And this is where we have an issue. The discrimination, especially for women, especially for men, the looking down to, the stigma, broken marriage, broken relationship, a lot of baby daddies, a lot of baby mummies. So people tend to be like, do you know what, instead of me coming out, let me just stick to this because I don't want to be discriminated. I don't want to be put into that emotional stress. And they stay. And what happened is they have children. And their children now sees the same. And then we have the repeat of the cycle. And that cycle, for it to be broken now, becomes harder because it shows you as a mother or as a parent where you did not cater. And it shows you also where your parents failed you, and then from there you now see how you're failing your children. And it becomes, and if you don't have the right support, it becomes so stressful that people rely on to substance, people even commit suicide, people just stay in, and it's long. And in some cases you see some people who, thank God, like this 16-year-old, she left the relationship and it took her a while and she's no longer with a guy. But this is where my message also lands. You being removed from the environment is good. Perfect. Well done. But you have not learned what got you into that situation in the first place. So that means you're not really safe. You're in danger. So obviously, like I was saying, you think because you're removed from that environment, you're safe. No, you're not. You're actually probably in the worst situation. Reason being is you had a childhood abandonment from when you were young. So that you had already that trauma from there. And that trauma, you've carried it to where you are. And where you are, you now have another trauma of deception from that particular person or partner or friendship or family. And now you now have double. And with that double now, you've removed yourself from the environment and you haven't even understood from your childhood. And you haven't even processed where you just came from. And now you're thinking, yeah, I'm out. And then what's going to happen is you're going to find another person, or another person is going to come. You're going to be like, you're going to start looking. Does he have this? Does he have this? And that person will still, give you, and they can, if they're narcissists, they will love bomb you again, but in a different formality. And you're going to have a repeat cycle. This is why it's important for you to process your emotion. Process everything. When I mean process, and you need to go through stages. This is why it's important to go to therapeutic help, because it helps you break it down. And if you're a believer of Christ, I'm going to tell you this. If you are a man or woman and you have childhood abandonment, it hinders the way you view God. What tends to happen, you start to see God as this authority, this person of authority, this person is higher. You don't see him as a father, which then breaks that barrier, that breaks that bridge of relationship, of viewing someone as a father. And even when you sin, you don't really go back to God. This is why you have so many people who run away from the presence of God instead of actually going back to the presence of God, because you don't view him as a father. You view him as a manager who will just tell you off of what you've done. And a lot of people, a lot of preachers, a lot of people who have title, they've preached, or the way they speak about God is this, he is almighty, he is powerful, but he is a father. And we see that throughout the Bible. We see he is a father. It's us, humankind, who put this authority, this mentality, because we have not processed a lot of emotion. Tell me what you think at the comment. What triggered you? Or what made you think? Or Have you been a victim of this? Or did I make you think? Did I tickle your brain? See you next time. Bye-bye. And by the way, a lot of victim build up Stockholm Syndrome. Look it up. That's your homework. What is Stockholm Syndrome?